Hello, this is Kaya with Project Success's College and Career Chat. Today we are connecting with Gemini and Columbia College Art and Media School with our special guest host from Project Success, Mark.
Yeah, hello, my name is Mark with a C. I work at Roosevelt High School, but I also am the workshops manager as well.
Awesome.
Thank you, Mark. Mark will be asking questions based on student input after the end of this video. But first, let's start off with introductions and admissions information from Gemini.
Hello, students. I hope you all are having an incredible day today and you're smiling, right? So I want to just take a moment and tell you a little about who we are as a college, right? I don't know if you've heard of Columbia College Chicago, but I'm going to give you about a 10-minute spiel of who we are. My name is Gemini. I'm originally from Chattanooga, Tennessee. So I love people. I love talking to passionate students about communications, arts, and media. And I get to work for a school that I really believe in. And it's my goal for you to find a school that really fits you well, right? Because that's really what it's about. So who are we? We are a college for creatives. And what that means is that we simultaneously offer the best of a liberal arts education and an art school. We do this for our students with academic rigor, hands-on learning, career preparation, and collaboration from the very first day. So we're encouraging you to take creative risk, to shake things up a bit, to make people a little bit uncomfortable. But to be able to do this, like in a diverse and a safe and inclusive environment as you continue to author the culture of your times, right? Students graduate from Columbia with their Bachelor of Arts degree, their Bachelor of Fine Arts degree, their Bachelor of Music, or their Bachelor of Science. There are several things that really make us who we are. And a few of those I will share with you today would really be the diversity that exists at our college, right? We are incredibly diverse on every level you can imagine. Like, we've got students from the west side of Chicago and students from Beverly Hills living in the same environment together, right? We got students from that went to school to actually embrace communications, arts, and media, along with students who are like, man, photography is my life, but I haven't had those opportunity or resources in the same environment. And you imagine what that does for you as an artist, as an individual, as a professional. Wow. To add to that, we are 34%, 38% minority, 5% international, 50% out of state, students from all 50 states and over 65 foreign countries. Every age, race, color, sex, size, shape, you can imagine, y'all, on our campus, much like our real world, right? So we've got, 10 all-inclusive restrooms on campus. So not only are we diverse, but we're incredibly, what's the word? Inclusive. It's so good and so awesome. Another thing students love about us is the support that's here. And part of that support is being able to take classes in your major your first year. We want you to figure out how much you hate and love this stuff, so you find the right place and the right major from the beginning. There are 5 ways to graduate from the college, right? 5 pathways of graduation. There is the traditional major minor. I think you've heard of that one. One of our most popular ways is you choose a major and you choose your elective hours and you go nuts on the campus, putting these things together to make you more marketable. The third way, there's a major called interdisciplinary arts, which allows you to do 2 to 3 majors in one. Fourth way is double majoring. And then, of course, we have our BFA program. What I want you to hear is that there's just a plethora of ways to graduate, right? And in making these things come together to make sure you're working and that you're marketable, yeah? There are over 60 programs to study at Columbia, right? You get an idea of looking here at the screen of what some of those areas are. And the most popular way of graduating is really, they choose a major and then you use your elective hours. You know, students come to Columbia and sometimes they're racking their brains thinking, oh my goodness, what major do I choose? And we tell them that is never the question. The question is not what major do I choose? The question is, what skills do I want to use to earn my money? That's your question, guys, right? Because when you apply for a job in our country, the base guidelines for interview is having an accredited bachelor's degree, right? But when you're doing these fields, they're going to say two things to you. When you walk into the interview, poised, articulate, they're going to say, this is what we need. Can you do it? And you're going to pull out your professional body of work. You're going to do your song, dance, and monologue. And within about 90 seconds, they've decided. So the trick, if there were a trick, is to have this one liberal arts accredited bachelor's degree and know how to do the 3 or 4 things you say you want to do with the body of work to prove it. Yeah, that's what really moves you forward in these areas here. But here's what you should know. The foundation of all of our majors are the liberal arts and sciences curriculum. Students, it is our job to kick you in the butt, academically as well as in your area of interest, because it's not enough for us to be creative, talented, and gifted. We have to be smart. We have to be driven. And it's the liberal arts that allow you to start thinking holistically about, how do I earn money from this stuff so I'm not living in my parents' basement? The liberal arts education is designed to help students develop a range of intellectual capabilities that can be transferred to solve problems in a multitude of areas. Let's be more candid. In this economy, employers are looking for students with transferable skills. Do you know what those skills are? Written and verbal communication skills. The ability to be able to collaborate, connect, and talk to other people. That's a skill now. And also to be adaptable. To be adaptable to the ever changing workplace. Like right now, everything's virtual, everything's changing. That's the hallmark of a liberal arts education, no matter what school you choose, right? Can you tell we're advocates? Our classrooms are less than 20 students, so we know you by your name and when you're not in class. Yikes. The third thing would be the support that's here. The support really exists beyond just the academic stuff that I mentioned, right? But also the Career Center. We have over 20 full-time professionals sitting down with you individually, helping you figure out your own personal brand, helping you figure out jobs and internships that exist outside of what your mind might be imagining. And we do things in the Career Center like panels, where leading experts from all around the country come to the campus to review your work. You collect business cards, keeping you adaptable to the changing workplace. One of my favorite things we do is called the Creative Worker Series, where you learn how to file taxes, how to copyright your work, how to get people to care about what you're selling them. It's so good. And this all starts from day one, right? So no student leaves Columbia thinking, my goodness, I've spent all of this money. What do I do now? Because you've been doing this stuff from the start. We have an incredible, internship program, where literally the average student is leaving with 2 to 3 internships at Columbia, right? No student leaves thinking, what do I do? Because you've been doing this stuff. And then you wonder like how our students live. Well, before I talk about that, I do want to mention that support exists academically and it also exists career-wise, but I want you to know there's so much support here. Like with our students with disability services are available to you. If you need extra time taking tests or you need a note taker, that's accessible to you and students use it. I'm a huge mental health junkie, so you know. I had virtual therapy last night, so there you have it. But in Columbia, included in tuition is 10 one-on-one sessions each academic year and unlimited group sessions. And our students are using these things nonstop all the time. Just know that like whatever the support you need to be successful in your career path, it's done. It's awesome. And then you wonder how our students live. Well, let me tell you, students shouldn't live this way ever, right? We're talking 1,100 square feet apartments, 2 bedrooms, dishwasher, some with the lake view. It's not right, but it's awesome. We have about 2,600 students that live in our housing out of the 7,000 students that attend Columbia. And I gotta tell you that we could not be the college that we are without being in this world-class city, Chicago. Chicago has over 26 miles of beaches, right? Most of them are rocks, but nevertheless. um, there's what incredible pizza here. But what I love most about Chicago is that it's not oversaturated, right? So as a young professional, thinking about a career path in communications, arts, and media, there is work for you, right? The advertising scene here, the marketing, the blues club, there's over 250 theaters. There are 6 television shows being filmed in Chicago right now. I could go on. And you know, we tell students all the time, if you're coming to Columbia to be a star, you're coming to the wrong place. You're coming to be a working professional, you're coming to the right place. With that said, we've only had 14 alumni in the last 2 years win Emmys. I'm not bragging, I'm just saying, right? 8 Guggenheim winners, each in the photography department, bringing it to you from the streets, giving you the real deal. 4 Golden Globe nominations last year from the show Empire of alumni that worked there. Our fiction writing department has won Best Fiction Writing Publication across the country the last 10 consecutive years. Let me re-humble myself. Hey, earning more money than you need and winning awards is a byproduct of actually doing those things. And a college's job, wherever you go, is to have you do these things. And that's what happens here at Columbia. So you wonder, like, our tuition, I got to tell you, as you're looking into colleges and you're thinking about the value of the education, and when you think about value, you're talking about things like the facilities that exist. Are they up to date? Are they going to give me what I need to create my body of work to make me marketable for the changing workplace, right? The faculty, right? Are the faculty still working professionals? Are they in the field? Can they connect me? Can they train me, right? Where's the college located? Is the college in a city that's conducive to what it is I want to do for a career? Yeah, these are the things that add value to your education, right? Do I have access to my advisor when I need it? Do I have counseling services if I need it? The value. Right now, tuition at Columbia is tuition and fees, $28,000 an academic year. That's not a small number, but an incredible number for who we are and what it is that you get from the college. When you add housing, you're looking at about $42,000 a year for tuition, fees, and housing. We have tons of scholarships. The average scholarship is $10,000 a year from the college. That's not including whatever the government might give you. And that's not including all of the outside scholarships I trust you will be applying for. Yes, seniors should be applying for like 5 scholarships a week in my mind, but don't get me started there. But I think we're an incredible value. I don't think it's cheap, but it's really important to know what that looks like, and we're here to talk to you and your family throughout that entire process. How do students apply to Columbia? And I'm almost done here. There's 3 ways to apply. 2 ways to apply. The common application, which I think you're familiar with, yes. Our application, whichever one you want, we're not biased, but we're rolling admissions, which means that when you apply to Columbia, you hear from Columbia within about 5 weeks, right? We're looking at your essay that you write for us, right? Grammar, punctuation, flow of it, creative energy. We're looking at your GPA from 9th to 12th grade. So it's not just about a letter grade or a number grade, but every part of you. Our average GPA is about a 3.34. 3.34 is what our average GPA is. But again, it's a range of what that looks like. We are test optional at Columbia. The benefit of test scores, if you do extremely well, that means additional scholarship dollars for you. And you don't have to take our placement in reading, writing, and math. When we review your application, we want to know, is this student college level ready? We also have portfolios that are available. Typically, portfolios are due by January the 31st of your senior year, and all that information is listed via our website. I hope this is helpful for you. I'm going to pass this back and take any questions that you all have. Oh, I can't hear you. 1 second here.
Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for sharing, Gemini. I actually have a list of some common questions that we've had recently, but then some ones that actually just came in. But I'll read through a couple of the ones right away. The first one is something you actually addressed, but I maybe thought you could either expand on it or provide a different example. I know you mentioned one of the things that makes you unique to other art schools is the fact that you're kind of a liberal arts base, right? What are some of the other things that you think, because a lot of times students who are looking at Columbia are going to be looking at other arts programs or other arts kind of different models of art schools. So I just was wondering if there was anything else that you could think of that really makes Columbia unique.
Well, one of the is really going to be the fact that you're able to take classes in your major your first year. That's a huge deal, and that gives you a whole 4-year program to develop your professional body of work. Not only that, but it also allows you to find your place. Sometimes that first year, you think you know what you want to do, and you don't always know until you get into these classrooms and you're with your professor and you're experiencing what that is to you. And it's our job to help you find that place, right? So the flexibility. The second thing would be every student, it doesn't matter the major, must take at least 2 to 3 business courses because we want you to be the smart artist, right? It's very important to know that. Our average internship, two to three internships per student. A lot of schools have internships, but I think that we really focus a lot on them. I think one of the third thing would be the autonomy to explore, creative latitude, which means if your major is going to be American Sign Language, but you want to take a theater class, you're welcome to do that. If your major is journalism, but you want to take a dance class, you're able to do that to really build your skill sets, which is awesome. And then I would also say where we're located, right? I mean, if you're thinking about a career path in communications, arts, and media, you want to find a school that's located in a conducive city for these things, in my mind, right? And just so you know, there's so many awesome schools out there. And in our club, students that apply to Columbia, they also apply to Emerson, which is awesome in Boston, Cal Arts, Savannah School of Art and Design, Parsons, Pratt, NYU. Typically, if they're applying to us, they're applying to those awesome schools also.
Cool. So I know you mentioned that you live in Chicago and it's a wonderful city and huge and big. And one thing that a student asked was something that I think gets asked everywhere, which is what does your school do to ensure safety on campus? I know that on campus is a little different for you, right? Because you're right in the heart of Chicago. But what does Columbia do as far as safety for their students?
I love this question. I want to first say that where we're located is known as the Arts and Educational Corridor of the city. There are 60,000 students in the South Loop. We're the largest landowner. Our campus is 1.3 miles long, 3.5 blocks wide, 20 buildings. We own that joint. But here's what you should know. All of our academic buildings are secured until the last student leaves that building in the evening. The resident centers are secured 24 hours a day. You need a key card, blood samples to get inside. It's that intense. There's also blue lights around campus. There's security in every building when you enter to show your ID. And we're in District Number 1, statistically the safest area in the city of Chicago. We are a mile away from the Magnificent Mile, right? We're in the financial district of the city as well. Any new person looking to move to Chicago, young professionals, they're looking in the South Loop, which is what our area is called, the South Loop. And it's one of the first choices they want to look into. Here's what I want you to know about the word safety. It is our job to make sure our campus is secure, right? Safety is our own personal feeling. You with me? You don't really know that until you experience the campus, right? But we have kicked butt and making sure our campus is so secure that you feel that safeness, right? It's where right across the street from us, we have Grant Park. I don't know if you've heard of Grant Park, but if you have, there's this little, you know what happens in Grant Park? A lot of things happen there, but it's this little tiny music festival called Lollapalooza. Have you heard of it? But anyhow, that's our front yard. That's our quad. So I want you to experience the feel of that safeness because we have done our part.
Cool. That was a great answer. Another thing connected to that I think is important is, Minneapolis, where our students are from, is a fairly, mid-sized, but, larger city than some of the other ones around us. But obviously Chicago is even a little bit bigger. So I guess another question I would have for you is, what advice would you have for a student who's moving from a different state or a different city, a smaller city, to Chicago, but also to your college? Like, what advice would you have for them to adjust or to figure out how to, deal with the fact that they're in a brand new space in a brand new, beautiful, big city?
Thanks, Mark. I want to first say that here's what I think I know about students that may have never really truly experienced a big city, because Chicago's the third largest in the country. Somewhere innate in their minds, they know that's where they want to be, right? So when they actually go and experience it, they're like, whoa, what's this? Is this real? Is this happening? In the coolest way. So they already know they're open to it. So the first thing is to be open, right? And then a lot of colleges, including Columbia, we've got programs that help you out through that. One of our classes that every freshman must take is called Big Chicago. This is where you go explore the 77 neighborhoods in our city, right? You get to understand how to use the U-Pass. The U-Pass is known as the University Pass, which is good for the entire CTA system, trains and buses in the city, included in tuition. So you're figuring out how to navigate the city. You're figuring out the best place for deep dish pizza, right? Where do you want to go film your movie? These are the things that happens during Big Chicago. And then that first week of Welcome Week, that's when you're really getting a feel for your departments, right? And learning your faculty more, not just the classroom stuff, but them as a person. We have really cool defense classes, right? We have included into safety, which is kind of cool. We also have escort services. So like say your first 2 or 3 weeks on campus, maybe you have an evening class or you don't feel comfortable walking home or something to your residence center. They'll come pick you up if you need that to happen. So be open. Use what's available on the campus, right? There's so much, right? Whether it's the Big Chicago class, whether it's the escort service, and whether it's the welcome week that's going to happen when you first get to the college. I could go on, but that's an idea of where to start.
Cool. I think we have time for just one more question, looking at my time right now. So here's the final question of the session. What is one piece of advice you have for our Project Success high school students that are watching?
You know what I did? Are they watching right now?
They will be when this is posted.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Well, hi, Project Success students. First, I want to say thank you all for being attentive to this moment right here and learning more about a college, and not just any college, but Columbia College Chicago. Here's my advice. A lot of times students choose not to apply to colleges because they're afraid of what tuition looks like. The first thing to know is that you don't know until you actually apply. So that's number one, do that. But I also know that in our country, $1.3 million a year goes unclaimed in external scholarships. There's so much money. And let me tell you why it goes unclaimed. 2 reasons. Students are lazy in this area, and no one applies for the small scholarships. Everyone applies for Target and Walmart and Bill Gates and Mickey D's and Coca-Cola, which is awesome, but no one's applying for the local businessman around the corner from where you live that wants to give a student $400 because no one thinks that's money. I'm a huge advocate for the smaller they are, the more likely you're going to receive it. In my mind, every senior should be applying for at least 5 scholarships a week. And here's what you should know. Every scholarship organization wants the exact same stuff. So if these items are ready, all you're doing is tweaking your essay and making sure they get what they need. What are those items? If you're thinking about these areas that we offer, a portfolio of some sort, right? Letters of recommendations, get one to represent every part of you. If you do volunteer work, if you're spiritual, your academic area, that way you don't have to bug anyone last minute. They will thank you. Save these letters of rec. Third thing, copies of your transcripts. They want to know what your GPA is and what that looks like. Fourth thing is going to be your essay, right? Write a killer essay, save it, and tweak that baby every time you need it. These are typically the four things any organization desires. And if these are ready, all you're doing is tweaking the essay to fit what they need. So I encourage you to apply for external scholarships because they're going to be helpful for whatever school you decide to go to. And I encourage you to apply to the college of your dreams. You really don't know what it looks like, the financial package, until you do it.
Cool. Thank you so much, Gemini, and thank you for all of your answers today.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, for those of who are watching, if you want follow-up information about Columbia College Art and Media School after this video, you can check our website at www.projectsuccess.org/college tours for links and contact information, as well as updates on any upcoming Project Success college and career tours. Thank you so much, and I hope you have all a groovy day.
Thanks, Gemini.
Thank you.
Thank you.